Hi friends, it's Cathy, and welcome to my YouTube channel. It's in the cards Divination. So today we're going to do a 3-pile pick a pile, but this subject matter is a little different. It happens to be one of the more common subjects that any tarot reader or card reader will get asked, or at the very least talked about. So before we get started, I would encourage you, if you like this video, click on the like button or subscribe button to receive more videos coming up as well. I'd love it if you left a comment just to find out if anything resonated for you, okay? So this week's subject matter is the Three of Swords. Now you can see that horrible looking card. It's very painful and difficult. So usually when we get this card, and it doesn't always come up very often, I will say, thank goodness, it indicates on a very common level some type of hurt or betrayal, disappointment. It depends, there's varying degrees of disappointment, pain, and hurt. But often this will come up for someone who is going through an infidelity. That's the type of card because you can see there's a third party involved, right? So all I know is this is a painful card, whichever way it shows up. So we're going to look at all the different ways. If you're going through something right now and you've been hurt, disappointed, betrayed, doesn't have to be infidelity. It can be any type, friendship, romance, even just a coworker, not just a coworker, but a coworker, then this reading will interest you. Now, I'll show you the different variation. This is the most common, although in this case there's a swan. Often it's a heart that's been pierced by 3 swords, okay? This is from another deck I have with the 3 of swords, very dark and brooding. But let me just pull it up here. You can barely see it. There is a heart, and you can see she's in agony, and it's being pulled in different directions. Her heart's been broken. Okay, my friends, as I said, when you're ready, which is a 3-pile pick a pile. So when you're ready, go down into the description box below, and there will be a timestamp with pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. And if your pile does not resonate with you, it doesn't sound like something you're going through, then I encourage you to listen to all of them if you want. Listen to all 3 piles. Sometimes it's just little bits and pieces that come out of those piles that resonate for us because it's a general reading for a large number of people, potentially. So it doesn't always, the whole thing doesn't always work well. That would be a personal reading. So if somebody was interested in a personal reading, well, that's different. I do have a website, and you can see the address in the description box below. Paid personal reading will give you the best resonation, obviously, for you. So if you've never had one, I encourage anyone to definitely go out and get one and see what's coming. For now, let's look at this situation. If you're going through a real difficulty right now, you've been hurt, maybe it's something that happened not that long ago, and you're just struggling, or you just want to find out how things are going to go, maybe between the two of you, or going forward in the future, or is it done? Is your friendship, relationship in any fashion, is it over? And what's going on? What's going to happen? All right. So my friends, stay tuned, and I'll see you in your reading. Hi, Pile 1. Welcome to your reading. So if you're struggling with the pain of heartbreak, whether it's in a romantic, a friendship, coworker, whoever it happens to be, then this is your reading. Let's see what potentially is going to happen with this situation for you going down the road. And then we'll try to do a timing. Okay, so let me pull an oracle card first. And let us see where this advice situation is going. These oracle cards are very good, give us good information and good advice. about a situation. And let's just see what they have to say, what your angels and guides want you to know about this, okay? All right. Wait. We have a wait card. So if you were contemplating severing ties, or if you already have, or going to them, you need to wait. So we're going to see how this plays out to see which way this card is leaning. Is it leaning towards trying to move on with them, maybe getting back? Or is it telling you that it's time for you to let them go out of your life, but don't do anything drastic? This is what I'm hearing. So if you haven't lost your shit already over this situation, then it's telling you to wait. Let's see how that plays out for you. All right. How is this going, Tarot? What do they need to know about? How one need to know about this situation and the pain they're dealing with? What do they need to know? I have the Page of Wands. We can put that down here. Move these over a bit. We have the Judgment in the reverse. Okay. And finally, we have the Four of Cups upright. Well, first of all, can see you completely having nothing to do with them for a while. You're too much in the judgment reversed mode, which tells me it's critical as far as criticism. Okay. There's a constant feeling of criticalness in this particular situation. In other words, it could very well still be fresh to you or fairly fresh. You haven't been able to move on. But what it does show me is that it doesn't show you necessarily letting go the emotions. You're ignoring them. Okay. This is what I see on this card. So when I put this together, and I'm going to pull some clarifiers, okay? Let me see. Let's pull a clarifier. The Page of Wands upright tells me that this could have been somebody who just made a mistake. They didn't mean to hurt you, in other words. Perhaps they were too, I want to say, naive and immature in their thinking. Like they were overexcited about something, so they got carried away. This is what I'm hearing. So I feel like this Page of Wands is they're kind of going with that. I feel like they want to um try to come back. I feel like you're going to ignore them, okay? I feel like they want to be explain themselves, but you're not in a place where you want to hear it yet. That's probably why we're getting the wait card. So let me see what else the page is telling us. Yeah, the sun in the reverse, which tells me they got really hurt over this situation. You're probably thinking, who cares? So did I, right? I mean, let's face it. But I want to say that as far as the Page of Wands, if this is reflective of you in this situation, it's telling me that your negative thinking and your judgmental thinking is clouding this situation. It's possible it's not as bad as what it seems to you. And I know that's easy for me to say. And you're probably thinking, yeah, but you weren't here. You didn't, you don't know how it feels. Yes, I do. Sometimes we see things from our own perspective because we're insecure and we think it is a certain way. Okay. So I feel like this person wants to come forward and try to explain themselves, but you're not in a place right now and you may not be. So let me just pull the Four of Cups. Actually, I'm going to pull one more card after the Four of Cups to see where this goes with between the two of you because it's telling us to wait. We want to find out, right? Okay, yeah, see? Three of Cups upright. This is a celebration. So there's going to be something, I feel like this person's coming back into your life. If they were somebody you dated and it was just somebody you just met scenario, I think it goes into the friend zone. Okay. Which is okay too. You're able to kind of look past, in other words, what happened. So that's what it's telling you to wait. It's saying don't jump too fast. Don't make your criticism too fast. Excuse me. Because it appears there's more going on here than what you're seeing or what you saw. Okay. I feel like this is more around either a friendship, a new relationship, a even a coworker. Okay, so it's more in that feeling. There's been a misunderstanding here. Let's see if we can find out more on that. Okay, definitely a misunderstanding of some type here. Okay. Yeah, yeah, there definitely has been. I think somebody was trying to look good in front of their friends and in an immature way. Maybe they said something without thinking and it got them into trouble and it really hurt your feelings and it really hurts and you feel betrayed. So this is kind of how I feel about this situation. It's and that they weren't being mature enough to handle it. And I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but there's a possibility here of being able to rectify this situation, make it better. Okay. Because we've got the Three of Cups in the upright. I feel like this could be something that you go from Three of Swords to Three of Cups. All right. The Three of Swords is painful. Now suddenly you're back being friends again. Okay. That's how I feel it's going to potentially play out for you. Excuse me. I'm just getting over a virus. Okay. Keep losing my voice. And I feel like there's a period of time here where you're just kind of like, you know what? I need to cut ties on social media. I don't want anything to do with them. But the good news is that it's somehow coming back. Let me see what happens to change it from this to this for you. What is it that potentially happens for you? Let me see here. The Page of Pentacles. Interesting. Okay. You know what? It feels to me that you recognize the fact that they just aren't capable of anything else. I know that sounds weird. It's like if this is a friendship situation and you went your separate ways because of something that happened, it becomes this feeling for you that that's what they're capable that's enough. Sometimes you can have a friendship but it's more on the peripheral, like in other words you're not necessarily close because maybe trust is an issue, and in this case there could be definitely a trust issue. It could take time. I feel like that's what it's telling me. It's going to take time for you to get to this point that you're able to trust them again. Okay, so when you see Pentacle, it's a slow moving card. So there is this feeling of, well, they've started off like this, but they end up like this, which tells me that their maturity level hasn't changed necessarily. It's just what is the focus here? So I feel like it's more, okay, they're good to have fun with and do things with, perhaps, but it's not somebody necessarily that you want to include in your inner circle, maybe. You might go out and have fun together, but I don't feel necessarily that they may be close friend down the road, even with time. Okay. So let's see now. I'm going to pull my timing cards. Actually, no, I'm sorry, I'm not. Let us pull a timing with and see. What kind of timeline does it look like before this happens, where you go from having no contact to, and it looks they're trying to be trying to reach out to you. They want to reach out, but you don't want any part of it for a while. So let me just see how long that is. We'll see what the potential time is on that. We have the Three of Wands, which tells me that it's a little faster than I had originally thought. It may even have already happened, I'm going to say. That then maybe you two are back speaking, but I don't feel like this is more about trust. It would take a long time to trust, and I don't feel necessarily it could go in that direction. Now, it does tell you wait, and it tells you wait because there's something else here going on that you need to pay attention to. And maybe it has something to do, what I'm feeling is it may have something to do with the fact that you were quick to judge, quick to see the negative side of them, quick to judge them. Maybe you need to take a step back. And I feel that could be your insecurities and you know, how we all feel about ourselves. It's like, oh my gosh, one little thing not one little thing, it could be a big thing too. One thing happens and we jump to the worst case scenario. It may not even be that. I feel like I say, I feel like this could be a misunderstanding and it needs to be dealt with. You need to, this has to stop. This that eventually. So it's okay to take the time. They're saying wait. It's okay to take some time to think about it and see, like, are they worth bringing back into your life? And as I say, if it's a romantic situation, perhaps they just stay in the friend zone. They're just somebody that you have fun with. I was going to say a friend with benefits, but no judgment here, right? That you don't necessarily, because trust is definitely an issue here. Okay. So, pile one, there appears to be this situation, and again, it could be a coworker, it could be a friend, but I feel it's more in the friendship area. Somebody got in the middle here and hurt you. Now, the other scenario is, as I mentioned, the Page of Wands got in between the two of you. And the Page of Wands is somebody who's more fun, more exciting. They always like to do things. They want to, you know, have a lot of fun. So I feel like this could be a third person that got in the way. This may not necessarily be representing them or you. This could be the other person. And right away you jumped. Oh my gosh, the insecurities kicked in. They're better than I am. They're more fun. Everybody likes them, blah, blah, blah. You know, no. But unfortunately, I feel like it's caused this rift where you've just completely moved away from them. Maybe they said something, as I mentioned, that was hurtful. It could very well have been. They wanted to look good in front of their friends. And yeah, that is a very immature thing to do. It's like being a kid again. They need to own up to what they did. There needs to be discussion. But having said that, going forward, the oracle card says give it a bit of time. Give it a bit of if it hasn't already come back to this, give it some time and see where it goes. So, my dear pile one, I hope you enjoyed this reading. And it looks okay in the end. But yeah, you need to open up your own thinking about this situation. As I say, it may not be as dire as it appears on the surface, all right? Or how it feels. Feelings, very important. All right, dear pile one, I hope you enjoyed this reading and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye for now. Pile two, let's have a look at this situation. You've been hurt, you've been disappointed, maybe you've been betrayed. And it could be recently, whatever scenario you're thinking about, this is the reading for it. If it doesn't resonate, as I mentioned, let it go, move on to another pile, or take little pieces of it if it speaks to you. First, let's look at the oracle cards and see what the advice is for this particular scenario overall for you, pile two. All right, let's see what we have here. Okay, we have remain positive. Interesting. So it tells me that sometimes the best form of revenge, this is what I'm hearing, is living a good life. Okay, being happy. Let's see how this plays out in this scenario. Okay, let's get our tarot cards. Excuse me. Oh, my throat. I have been fighting a virus, so I'm starting to feel better, but a little frog is hanging on. Okay. And you know me, I like to talk, so it makes it more difficult. Now, before I get started, I'm just going to release some of these energies here so we don't get repeat. And okay, now we're clean. Okay, my friends. All right. What is going to be going on with this scenario going forward? What can you expect from this situation or what happened, right? We want to see. We have the Knight of Cups. This down a little bit. And we have the Ace of Wands. And finally, the Star in the reverse. Okay, so the scenario that I'm already seeing is one of romance. That's the Knight of Cups. But I feel like this person, it could even be you, the Knight of Cups, trying to get back together. Okay, this particular scenario is a romantic one, a love situation. There was a betrayal, pain, something caused you to go your separate ways. Now, going forward, I feel like this person is going to try to get back. They want to start over. They want to do over. I feel like because the Ace of Wands, but and the Ace is very much early days. Because the Star is in the reverse, I don't think there's any chance of success with it. Whether you won't take them back or they won't take you back, if this is you, or it just wouldn't work. But we're going to delve a little more into that and find out a little more about that. Okay. Let's see, first of all, the Knight. This is, again, as I mentioned, this appears to be more of a romantic scenario. And why? Let's see why the Star situation isn't going to work. What card will show us why? Four of Cups. I feel like it's just, you're just not satisfied. You're not going to be happy with it. Let me move this down a bit. And can see how she's just completely ignoring. I would even go so far as to say they're going to text you. The Ace of Wands can sometimes represent somebody who messages you with some kind of excitement going on. Maybe it's even a booty call. I don't want to say that, but they could be trying to just get back with you for sex, even. But you're not going to have any part of it. You're ignoring their messages, you're ignoring them, and you've turned your back to them. You want no part of it. And it tells you remain positive. So in this particular scenario, I feel this is like it's your best way of getting back at them. And I don't like revenge because revenge is usually useless. It never helps you feel better, even though we think it will. But if you want to live a good life, remain positive. Um, but let's see if there is a chance down the road. See, this is just now. Okay. What about later on? I'll pull another card. Will this possibly have an opportunity to come back? A do-over down the road. Let's see. And then we'll try to find out timing if it does say yes. I want to say no. The Eight of Cups in the upright shows me moving on. Okay, you're moving on. No. So this appears to be too much of a hurt situation potentially, or you just are the type of person, it's like you're dead to me. You do it once, we're done. Okay. So remain positive tells me in this particular scenario that what you need to do is don't tarnish this situation for future relationships. Don't let this, whatever happened in this situation with Three of Swords, don't let this affect going forward. This is just this person, in other words. So you have to try to remain positive that this is not, in other words, don't sit there and dwell on the negative. Don't dwell on, the fact you got hurt, and this, we all get hurt. That's just part of life. This is something you need to let go of. And it looks like this is more of a cut and dried situation where you just cut them off. It's like, nope. But that doesn't necessarily mean you heal from it. All right. So you need to work on healing from this and not allowing it to taint other relationships going forward. All right. So that is the one scenario. We're going to pull another and see what else we have, because that one was, I was going to say, pretty cut and dry, pretty simple actually. Let's see, what other scenario? Pile two, can you show us where you have to remain positive? Let's see what we have going forward for you in this current situation of pain you're thinking of. All right, let's see. We have the King of Swords. We have the Hermit. And finally, we have the High Priestess. Interesting. So in this particular scenario, this could apply to any situation. This could, because it's very generic. I want to say generic. This friendship, coworker, love interest, whoever. Okay. So whatever you're thinking of in this case, this King of Swords, I feel like this is representing you, how you feel at this time. It's You've kind of been able to sit down and look at this situation from a more pros and cons point of view. You've sat down, you've really thought about it. You've spent a lot of time in reflection on your own, perhaps. I feel like this is something that you've learned from. And the High Priestess, I'm going to pull a clarifying card about that. Let me see what she's trying to tell you. Ah, yes, that's what I thought. The Empress upright. So basically, what she's telling me is you feel you've kind of got to a point where you've taken care of self. You spent some time introspective, learning from this situation. It's like, no, it's okay. I deserve better. So, in other words, the High Priestess tells me that you see yourself now as special, unique, and that you don't need to allow somebody to walk all over you, treat you in a bad way. This is you taking care of you. And when I see the High Priestess, I feel like you've had time to realize your value. That's what I want to say. That you are valuable and you deserve, as I mentioned, better than this scenario. So, what's going to happen with it going forward? I assume nothing in this particular, you've moved on and remain positive, but I feel like you already are trying to be positive. You're learning from it. But what could potentially happen with this relationship going forward? Let's see, between the two of you. The Judgment card, but in the upright, I feel like there could be a return. There could be. Sometimes the Judgment upright can tell me of a time when the two of you come together and revisit the situation. It doesn't mean getting back together necessarily. It's like a judgment call. It's like it's up to you, in other words. I feel like that's what it's telling me. So there is the potential that they may come back into your life in some fashion going forward. But I feel like, well, number one, this whole scenario for you was like a wake up call. It's like, okay, I need to smarten up. I need to treat myself better. I don't deserve this. That's one situation, which then tells me you're not getting back together. But it also tells me nothing definitive. It tells me this situation is in your hands. You're the one that will make the decision going forward. Do you need to revisit this relationship? Do you need to go back and be together? I don't feel that by that time it'll happen. The judgment's in a positive position, which tells me that you will make a good judgment about the situation. You remain positive. It doesn't actually tell me yes or no. Will you make that choice? Because it's up to you. Girl, guy, whoever is listening to this, it's going to be up to you. You don't have to. You have free will. Okay. And that's what the cards are telling me here. But I feel like it's possibly not going to go in that direction unless this person has had a complete um, change of heart, which that's the other scenario. Okay. So I'm going to read the other scenario I'm seeing here for some of you. What it tells me is this person has spent a lot of time thinking about what they did and how badly they treated you, like they hurt you. And they see you as like this, almost like this goddess. If this is a romantic relationship, I'd say, even if it's a friend, they see you as a very wonderful person, that you are special. You're an empress. What can I say? You're like your top of your game, right? And they try to come back. There is this scenario too. So it's complete opposite. Depends which side the King of Swords is sitting. The King of Swords, in this case, if he's representing the other person, it doesn't have to be a man. This person has finally figured out what they did wrong, okay, in this scenario, and they want to put it to rights. That's what I'm feeling. Whether or not you have a relationship with them is up to you. Again, it's still up to you, okay, even in this scenario. It shows try to remain positive, give them a chance to explain themselves, give them a chance maybe to prove themselves, because it's not always carved in stone. In other words, we always say, oh, people never change. Well, maybe at the core, but sometimes people can make an effort to improve. So it depends on what caused this in the first place, right? So if this hasn't happened yet, for those of you that are reuniting in some way, it doesn't mean you'll stay together. It just means that potentially you may have the opportunity to face with them again, to explain the situation, or for them to explain the situation. Doesn't mean necessarily you get back together. But when is this going to happen? If it hasn't happened to you already, let's see what Tarot says about it. Pile 2. Has it happened? Will it happen? What's going on? How long? How long? So it's the Queen of Pentacles. This could take quite some time. This isn't something necessarily for those that it hasn't happened to. It could take a bit of time, and the Queen is the one who is feels she's representing you because she was in the reverse. So what it tells me is once you've been able to get yourself in this headspace, when you've worked out everything, if this is representing you, then that could happen. But often pentacles can refer to a year time, so it can take a long time. Or it's not telling us an exact date. It's just saying that this situation has to happen before it will happen. In other words, you have to be in the right headspace, or they have to be in the right headspace, which we don't control any of that, of course. So it's just telling you remain positive, my friends, and try not to obsess about anything. I know it's difficult when you've been hurt. So pile 2, I'm going to leave this reading with you, and I hope some of it resonates, if any of it, and I look forward to seeing you in my next reading. Bye for now. Hi, pile 3. Let's see what's going on. So you've been hurt. The 3 of Swords has come up in your life in some way. So whatever you are focusing on right now, let us see if these cards make any sense to you as to what is going to happen going forward with this situation. So first, let's get some advice from Oracle and see what you need to pay attention to in this scenario. Let us see here. Listen to your intuition. Oh boy. We always say, yeah, but. Now your gut knows, right? All right. Let's see what it is you have to listen to your intuition about. So, going forward, then, my dear friends, what is going to happen with respect to this scenario? And let's see what the scenario is and how it's going to play out overall. All right. Let us go here and see. There we go. First of all, we have the Justice in reverse. Then we have the Ten of Pentacles. Oops. And finally, we have the Seven of Wands. Okay. What I'm getting in this scenario, number one, there's something that's happened to you, this betrayal, this situation where you feel you were treated unfairly. You didn't get what you deserved. I feel like it's family oriented. I'm hearing like could even be an inheritance. I know that's very specific, but there's a money situation, family money potentially, where you feel like you didn't get something. Or, excuse me, something with the family, though. This could be a relationship in your family where you've been hurt and that it could be extended family, it could be cousins, aunts, uncles, it could be anybody, grandparents, whoever, parents. But I feel like there is this situation. It could even have been something legal. This is very specific for somebody. If it didn't go legally, testing perhaps, and it's putting up a fight. It's not backing down. Okay. So I feel like you're not going to back down. You just, you know what? You're listening to your intuition. It's like, I know I'm doing the right thing. I'm going to continue with this situation. Potentially, and as I say, it feels like it could be over money. It's been a betrayal and it hurts. It really hurts. But for one thing, getting the money, like say you win, you get the money, it never really makes people happy. You're just doing what you feel is right for the situation. And I get that. That's a human thing. You're not backing down from it. You're going to, you know what? You're like, nope, I'm done. And I feel like that's what this particular relationship is over. Money will do that. We know that. If it is involving money, it could be involving just your energy and time. You were treated badly and it's not right. Sometimes there's no justice, but that's your stance. I feel like there's this self-righteous, nope, I deserve this. That's what I'm hearing. It's like, it's like when we argue because we know we're in the right, and then, that self-righteous feeling of, no, I know what I'm doing is right, and I'm fighting for what I believe in. Let's see what else the Justice card is telling us about unfairness in this situation. Okay, the Fool. Yeah, it's possible. Let me see now. How is he referring to justice? I was wanting to say there's something that wasn't paid attention to. Somebody, whether it's a parent or a grandparent, somebody did not do the right thing not because they were being cruel or nasty. I feel like it's because they just did not pay attention. Maybe they were a little foolhardy. That's what I want to say. That they just kind of, yeah, almost, I was going to say foolish. In other words, they weren't paying attention because they were too busy just living their life. And for whatever reason, you were treated badly in this scenario. If this is not an estate situation, maybe it's a friend or family member, I feel like they just weren't paying attention to how they were treating you. they kind of immature about it. Okay, let's see what else. Let's see what they can tell us about the Ten of Pentacles here. Clarifying the page. So it's somebody younger in the family potentially that I feel like they're the one that's going to be taken care of. If it's a financial situation, they're the ones, not maybe not you, but this younger person. Okay. Maybe they thought that you would not be capable of looking after the money. Like maybe they thought you wouldn't be good with it. I know that sounds terrible, but it is. If this is a financial situation, because most of all, that's what it's looking like. It, I feel like they did not think that either you weren't able to take care of that money or there's somebody else in the family that needs it more, somebody younger perhaps. Okay, that's the estate situation. You're not going to back down, but let's see what happens with respect to it. If this is family estate situation, very specific, my friends. So we're going to do another reading, more scenario. What's going to happen then? I see you not backing down on this. It's like, no way, I'm fighting this. And the Ace of Cups, unfortunately, in reverse, indicates that not being happy with the outcome. Unfortunately, I feel like it's not going to go the way you hope. It's going to cause some sad feelings. It's going to cause some pain. Um, Sometimes, like in scenarios like this, it's not worth fighting about. So you have to listen to your intuition. What is your intuition telling you in this case? If this is a friend, like this scenario, again, this is a no-win situation. You weren't treated well. They kind of ignored you. They weren't paying attention to you, if this is a friendship, or they weren't paying attention to what they were doing. You know what I mean? It's like they were just too busy doing what they wanted to do. You got hurt. Somehow you weren't treated fairly. And I want to see how you weren't treated fairly necessarily with this friend. And this is the High Priestess in reverse. So what it tells me, there might have been something you told them in confidence, or they might have blabbed about something, or said something out of turn, okay, in a more general way, that hurt you. And you just feel like sanctimony. I do not need to put up with this, and I'm just going, not backing down from them. And you're holding on to that hurt. But by holding on to it, you're not going to allow yourself the opportunity to heal from this. I feel like this is more about you wanting to get your, not revenge, but what you feel you deserve. You've been treated unfairly. I want what I deserve. Unfortunately, it leads to heartbreak. It leads to something negative. Um, in other words, sometimes when we say revenge is not revenge, because it's not really I don't feel it's necessarily a revenge situation. I feel like you just want to get what you feel is deserving to you, owing to you. And I feel like it's showing as it's not worth all the pain it's going to cause. That's what I want to say. Let's do another scenario, my friends. See what we can come up with. Because that one felt very specific. Doesn't have to be over money though, you know? It can just be even a family member that did this to you, a friend, somebody that hurt you. Maybe they said something, did something that they weren't supposed to, and you got hurt in the process. And maybe others looked at you differently because of it. So let's see what other scenario we have here. All right. Well, I'll be. The Three of Swords actually came up, and I had said we don't usually see it that often. All right, let's see how nasty this is. The King of Cups in reverse, and the Five of Pentacles. Oh my gosh. So somebody's going through, and pile three is going through a really bad breakup situation. This King of Cups in reverse really hurt you, has really hurt you in more ways than one, emotionally, mentally, and has left you financially in a difficult situation. You feel like you've just been thrown to the dogs, like I'm a piece of garbage. That's how it feels to me, a heaviness. But let's see what happens going forward. What are they? Now, this is the card of them. This is a very negative person. This can also represent you because of the situation is so hurtful that what it's done is it's made you lash out at others in a negative way emotionally. Okay. And all you're doing is driving people away. You have to stop this. I know you're in pain. I know, I get it. There's better ways to deal with this. It's not everybody else's fault. Maybe you're trying to lash out at the other person who hurt you, which I get that, but all you're doing is making yourself look worse, I want to say. So let's see what happens going forward with this relationship. It does not look good, but is there any chance of reconciliation or coming back, or what is it? What is going to happen? Let's see here. Ten of Swords in the reverse. Interesting. Now, I would most likely say there is a chance, but because these cards, normally I'd say that, but because these cards in this reading are quite negative, I'm going to say not likely. This is more about you starting to heal, okay, and moving forward. It's going to take time. We're going to look at a timing card and see how long it's going to take for you. Now, that's assuming you try to heal. This is a very, very hurting situation for most of you in this scenario. Like you've really been betrayed here. Look at the swords, but the swords are falling out. So eventually it starts to feel a little better. It starts to get better. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to pull up timing for you and see when you start feeling better. Doesn't mean that two of you are getting back together though. And I doubt with this situation you are. It's based on the cards. All right, let's see. But again, free will can change things, right? Let's see, what timeline are we looking at before this person, file three, starts feeling better from this nasty situation? The world. So, in other words, it doesn't actually give us a timeline, a number, a year, a week, or anything, but it tells me that this is in the hands of you. You have to make it happen. In other words, your free will is going to govern. There's also this whole thing is like I want to say it's a huge learning curve for you. So you need to come to the end of this situation. You have to go through the pain. You have to go through the process in order to come out on top. So it could take some time, but it doesn't tell us exactly when. It just tells us that it's in your hands. You have to make it happen. So, how do you make it happen? How do you make something like this? I mean, time does heal. We know that. But what is it that will make it happen? The Nine of Cups. So, what I feel is once you realize that it was a good thing that this happened to you, and I know that sounds strange because right now you are not thinking that way. Perhaps. But what has to happen is you have to come to a point in your mind where you say to yourself, it's like dodging a bullet. Oh my gosh, I didn't get what I wanted, but that's actually a good thing because this person did not treat you very well. That's how I'm feeling. It's like they were um, very negative. Their emotions are just, it was all negative emotions, right? So let me pull a card about the King of Cups more clarifying what about him. Three of Pentacles. So this could even be, doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. It could be somebody you worked with. Somebody you worked with, this King of Cups. What an asshole. Boss. And, I feel like for a lot of you, they betrayed you. Maybe they had promised you something at work and they didn't come through. It could have been a raise, it could have been a promotion. And that scenario, it's not a love situation necessarily. For some of you, it is. But I feel like
you didn't listen to. If you have been offered an opportunity at work here, I feel like you need to listen to your intuition. Does this sound like this is possible? That you're going to end up getting hugely hurt, or did you get hurt? And now, if they're trying to, in any way, promise you something else, listen to your intuition. What is it telling you? You got hurt the first time. Are you going to do it again? I doubt it. Nobody wants to go there. But I feel like if it was a job situation, like an opportunity, I feel like you wouldn't have liked it anyways. You it happened and it was a good thing it happened. In other words, it was good you didn't get what you wished for, because sometimes what we wish for isn't in our best interest. And in this case, I don't think you would have been happy. So for some of you, this is also about a work situation. It's also about somebody you might have been trying to work on your relationship with in some fashion, if it's a friendship or even a coworker situation or a lover, spouse, partner. But it was going nowhere. And then there is a third party in this because we have two threes here. I feel like in this scenario, there is a third person involved, whether it is at work and somebody else got the job, or a love situation where there could have been some infidelity, perhaps. I feel because the Three of Swords came up, there's a good chance on a Three of Swords reading that that is the scenario in this case. Wow. Very painful. Been there myself. I know exactly. I felt like I was reading my own scenario. And I'll tell you, if I can use my own situation from long ago, you do. If you work on it, you will come out a better person. It takes time, my friends, and you have to work through the struggles. All right, pile three. I went a little longer on this one, but I'm glad I did. So I hope something resonated and you enjoyed this reading, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye for now.